Hi, this is Praveen. You are listening to the free version of the Nutgraf podcast. While this is a full and unedited episode, it was originally released 4 weeks ago to our premium subscribers. If you'd like to listen to future episodes the very first day they're released, then please consider upgrading to our premium version. You can do that either by subscribing to the Ken's premium plan, which unlocks all of our premium podcasts via our subscriber apps. Or you can just subscribe to the Ken's premium channel on Apple Podcasts for a really affordable monthly subscription price. That'll unlock all of our premium podcasts. Our premium podcasts include The Nutgraf, of course, but also First Principles, 2x2, and Make India Competitive Again. You can check the show notes for links to all of these. Now, back to the episode. Thank you for listening. Today's edition of the Nutgraf, published on 12th of April 2025, is titled Ola Electric Didn't Stop Digging. I wanted to write about the tariffs today, but then, just like Donald Trump, I changed my mind. Like you, I'm also tempted to analyze what tariffs mean for India, but things are so chaotic right now that I think it's much better to just wait and watch. However, if you want a perspective on what the Trump tariffs mean, I recommend listening to the latest episode of 2x2. Rohin and I had a wonderful discussion with Mohit Satyanand, entrepreneur, investor, and economy watcher, about whether the tariffs represent a crisis or an opportunity for India. It's quite different from our usual episodes, and I think you'll really enjoy it. I have linked to it in the show notes below. Now, on to today's episode. While the world reeled from the Trump tariffs last week, Ola Electric finally hit an important milestone on Friday. It rolled out the very first Roadster X motorcycle from its future factory in Krishnagiri, Tamil Nadu. The electric bike is going to hit the road later this month. In a statement, Ola Electric chairman and MD Bhavish Agarwal said, "The Roadster X series represents our commitment to taking the EV revolution to the next level. Today's rollout celebrates not just a new product, but a new era for us and the industry, as it represents the next phase of revolution in electric mobility." It's a new era for Ola Electric indeed. As I've written previously, Ola Electric is facing a perfect storm across all of its businesses, and it is fast slipping into irrelevance. It relinquished its early lead in two-wheeler electric scooters, and it's now being overtaken by incumbents like TVS and Bajaj. The company does not just need a new narrative, it needs new cutting-edge products. Enter the Roadster. For more than a year, Ola Electric has been teasing electric motorcycles which it hopes will turn the tide. In fact, Ola Electric has been pinning its hopes on the Roadster for so long that it made not one, but two separate launch announcements several months apart. It even missed its initial promised launch dates, but hey, here we are. Now, the reason why Ola Electric needed this launch was because, well, the last few months have been somewhat bizarre for the company, even by Ola Electric standards, which you'll probably agree has a pretty high bar for bizarreness. That's because there is an intriguing mystery at the heart of it. It's a question that analysts, journalists, and experts are puzzling over. And the question is this: how many vehicles does Ola Electric actually sell in a month? Nobody knows this answer. Not anymore. I'll explain. It's actually a hell of a story. But first, some background. Historically, the auto industry in India has one important facet that distinguishes it from most other sectors. The sales data for almost every major player is publicly available on a website. This is enforced through the Motor Vehicle Act, which requires that automakers register vehicles within 7 days of being sold. This is available through a central portal called VAHAN, and anyone can access it, even you, to figure out retail sales data of every major automaker every month. Now, this is a very crucial input for analysts, investors, and reporters who typically use this data to figure out market share, trends, and to make recommendations on whether to buy stock or sell stock. So far, so good. Well, earlier this year, While Ola Electric was at the height of fighting a two-front war, rising service complaints and declining sales, it decided that this was the best time to open a third front. Here's the story from late February as reported by NDTV Profit. And I quote, only one out of three Ola Electric scooters sold in February were registered. The company, promoted by founder billionaire Bhavesh Agarwal, claimed to have sold 25,000 scooters in February, but only 8,390 were shown as registered on the government's VAHAN website. The discrepancy is due to the renegotiation of contracts with Rosemeta Digital Privates Limited and Shimnit India Private Limited, which carry out the vehicle registrations for Ola Electric. Quote, as a result of these ongoing negotiations, the registration numbers for the month of February 2025, as reflected on the VAHAN portal, will be temporarily impacted while there'll be no change in sales. This is a statement issued by Ola Electric in an exchange filing on February 19th. If you're a public company and you're in the business of making automobiles and you're in the middle of a crisis, the timing of this seems unnecessary. Most people are already quite spooked about your company's performance. Now you're messing around with the one reliable source they had to track how you're doing and creating room for all kinds of conspiracy theories to take root. Essentially, Ola Electric is telling everyone, don't look at the website numbers. The reality is different. Here's how many vehicles we actually sold in February. Trust us. Okay. For Ola Electric, this is the definition of a self-goal. It's an unnecessary distraction. If I was Bhavesh Agarwal, I'd be furious. I imagine I'd start by firing the people in the company who chose this specific time to renegotiate contracts with vendors who are responsible for making sure that sales numbers are updated on the VAHAN portal. I would then rehire them just for the satisfaction of firing them again. So why do it? Well, according to Ola Electric, the reason is to save money. Ola Electric said that the reason why it did this was because it wants to process these vehicle registrations in-house to cut costs. According to a story published by NDTV Profit, Ola Electric said that it was able to do registrations at 1/5 of the cost charged by its vendor Rosemeta Digital Services Private Limited. While Rosemeta charges somewhere around 1,500 to 1,800 rupees to register one EV, Ola Electric believes it can do so at rupees 300 or so. Okay. So the reason why nobody knows how many scooters Ola Electric sold in February is because Bhavesh Agarwal decided to take some ridiculous actions to cut costs, but ended up making things worse. I wonder where he got the idea from. Apart from the timing of the exercise, I also have to ask questions about its effectiveness. Assuming Ola Electric sells around 25,000 scooters a month, this is their number, and assuming that their guess about their cost reductions by moving the registration process in-house is correct, again, this is their number, Ola Electric saves a grand total of rupees 3 crores a month. In the previous quarter, Ola Electric's expenses were rupees 1,500 crores. So essentially, someone at Ola Electric decided that all of this, the disruption in sales, the confusion, the explanations, the clarifications, the loss of trust, all of this was worth the 0.6% of expenses saved as a result of it. I wish I could tell you that this is where Ola Electric stopped digging, but it didn't. Remember Rosemeta Digital Private Limited, the vendor who was processing registrations for Ola Electric until this point? Well, they also swung into action and dragged Ola Electric to the National Company Law Tribunal, or the NCLT. Rosemeta claimed that they had not been paid for services provided, and in their petition, they requested the tribunal to commence an insolvency proceeding against Ola Electric Technologies. Ola Electric's stock price fell by 7% when this news broke. In a few days, Ola Electric issued a statement that it had settled the pending dues of rupees 26 crores with Rosemeta. In return, Rosemeta agreed to withdraw the petition. Everyone sighed with relief. Again, I wish I could tell you that this is when Ola Electric stopped digging. Remember when Ola Electric clarified that it had sold over 25,000 vehicles in February as opposed to the 8,000 odd registrations on the website? Ola Electric attributed this to, quote, negotiations with vendors. Well, as it turns out, the Ministry of Road Transport and Highways in India was perturbed by the size of this discrepancy, and so they asked Ola Electric to clarify this 25,000 number. So Ola Electric sent them a letter with the details. And well, I'll quote the rest from Bloomberg because they broke this story. Quote, Ola Electric counted its yet to be launched electric motorcycles and e scooter bookings in its February sales number, making its market share look larger as it struggles to win back investor confidence. The SoftBank Group backed firm told India's Ministry of Road Transport and Highways in a March 21 letter that it added customer bookings for 10,866 third generation e scooters as well as 1,395 Roadster X motorcycles in its February sales record, citing them as confirmed orders. Roadster motorcycles have not been rolled out so far, while third generation scooter deliveries began in March. These two categories together account for nearly 50% of the 25,000 confirmed orders in February, Ola's letter shows. The ministry had asked the company to clarify on its monthly sales number. End quote. So until now, while the rest of the industry was reporting registrations, Ola Electric decided to report bookings. In a statement to Bloomberg, Ola Electric clarified that the sales in February have been calculated based on the full payment received from customers. In other words, the company claimed that the 25,000 number it reported to the ministry were people who had paid them fully for the scooters and motorcycles, and they were not part payments or token amount bookings. To their credit, Ola Electric stuck to this version of the story for a full 24 hours. A day later, Ola Electric issued a clarification to the stock exchanges, slightly modifying what they had said to Bloomberg the previous day. In their clarification, Ola Electric said, quote, to be clear, the sales figures for February 2025 represent genuine customer demand backed by financial commitment, not token amount bookings. Nearly 90% of these orders were paid in full at the time of placement. End quote. Nearly 90%. Of course, because Ola Electric is Ola Electric, they also made it clear that they were the victim here. Some extracts from that statement read, quote, we have faced consistent negative commentaries from some quarters. And we continue to work with integrity despite facing unsavory claims and attacks. End quote. Excellent. I'll end with an answer to a question I asked earlier. Is there any other conceivable reason why Ola Electric decided to go through all of this trouble? Could they have done it as part of a grand strategy? As Bhavesh Agarwal has said before, Elon Musk seems to copy everything that he does. And as we know, Elon Musk is a genius. If the student can play four-dimensional chess routinely, how good must the master be? Well, as it turns out, Ola Electric was ostensibly doing all of this registration in-house to launch something new yesterday. Ola Electric has launched Hyper Delivery, an initiative that is focused on offering same-day registration and delivery of vehicles in the country. The pilot program has been commenced by the EV manufacturer in Bengaluru and will be expanded across the country in a phased manner in the quarter. It's worth mentioning that the initiative allows the consumers to purchase EVs online at any Ola Electric store. Additionally, the consumers take home their fully registered vehicle within hours. The service will be supported by the automation of multiple steps in the vehicle registration process, bringing it entirely in-house. It will also eliminate the need for middlemen and will help in streamlining the overall experience. All of this will be achieved by integrating artificial intelligence in the EV manufacturer's operations. The brand claims that utilizing AI has significantly shortened processing times, resulting in a more streamlined and effective registration and delivery process. End quote. As always, quick commerce is the tail that wags every business in India. Everyone is prepared to disrupt their entire business and dig up their entire foundation if they can proudly claim they can provide something within a few minutes. And nobody is immune from it, especially not Ola Electric. This is Praveen Gopalkrishnan, and what you just read was the complete edition of the Nutgraf. You can read the full edition on our website at theken.com/thenutgraf. Sound and production for this episode have been done by Rajiv CN, and I'll be back again next week with another edition.